Welcome to the Mid-Hudson Library System Audit of Resource Allocation. This is for LIS581, Deborah Susan Schoen with Tom Sloan. And Tom graduated from the University of Tennessee. That's where he got his undergraduate, his MLS from the University of Florida, and then he went on to the University of Delaware to get his MPA, Master's in Public Administration. Sandra Nelson, a highly regarded not-for-profit consultant, assesses effectiveness and efficiency when she's assessing an organization. And efficiency can be defined as doing a task in the most streamlined manner as possible. And effectiveness, on the other hand, is a measure of the results of the task and an assessment of whether the task is worth doing at all. In today's economic environment, and this is the crucial point, libraries must operate in the most cost-effective way possible. And that means focusing on both effectiveness and efficiency. But today, state libraries want proof that they're operating in the most cost-effective way possible. Tom Sloan. Tom Sloan, the director of a library system, was chosen because I wanted to know how he assessed the needs of 66 member libraries in 5 counties as opposed to assessing the needs of a library that served one community. I wanted to know how he met those needs, and as a public administrator, what were some of his biggest challenges and what were some of his biggest successes. And Tom felt honored about being interviewed. He was enthusiastic and open to share his experiences and expertise. The interview was conducted by preparing a set of interview questions prior to the interview and then sending them to the director. And I went with the interview in hand, but I was also open to a natural flow of dialogue rather than just studying from my notes. Some of the challenges were, of course, preparing for the interview. I studied the Mid-Hudson Library System and their progress annual reports extensively before I went, so I wouldn't be wasting the director's time, and, of course, remembering questions she meant to ask, but forgot. The Mid-Hudson Library System conducted a national search for a director. Tom Sloan was chosen. What does he have to bring to the table? I'll give you a rundown of some of Tom's qualifications. He was a public school teacher for years in Tennessee, and then he got his MLIS from the University of Florida, and he was the public library director at Boca Raton and built a new library branch downtown. Then, with the Master's in Public Administration, he performed a major nonprofit merger of 4 library systems in Illinois into one during a major fiscal crisis. Now let's turn to organizational information use findings. How does Mid-Hudson Library System and Tom Sloan assess information? First, it might be a good opportunity to show you the 23 system libraries on a map. You can find this online at the website below, and I'm going to be talking about Mid-Hudson, where the gray arrow is pointing, the Mid-Hudson Library System. Please refer to your organizational chart that I included as a handout. In the late 1950s, the state legislature and the governor authorized the establishment of public library systems under the education law. So our direct governance does not come from the governor, but the Board of Regents. And our rules and regulations are established by the Commissioner of Education. And each public library system is governed by a board of trustees. And every member library system, every public library system is also governed by a library board of trustees. There are 3 types of public library systems in New York: consolidated, federated, and cooperative. For our purposes, I'm going to concentrate on the cooperative, because that's what the Mid-Hudson Library System is. It's an association created by agreement of boards of chartered member libraries, which retain their own autonomy. Please see your handout of the organizational chart of the New York State Public Library System. So, if there are 66 member libraries in a system, there are 66 separate board of trustees. Each public library system also has its own board of governance, or board of trustees. So, for a system decision, all directors and their board of trustees adopt or refuse the proposition. Then it goes to the system board of trustees to adopt or reject the proposition. Because it is a system, most of their resource allocations for staff salaries go to reporting usage statistics, staff and board development, staff training, cataloging, negotiating prices for databases, and an e-book, audiobook online resource called Overdrive, and preparing progress and annual reports. Now let us take a look at how MHLS presents usage statistics in a variety of ways. Let us take Overdrive, our ebook carrier for the system, and how MHLS has reported overall usage to member libraries. Tom Sloan has a plan for moving forward: services, resources, priorities, and actions. This is like a strategic plan with definite action. There are 15 services MHLS provides to libraries. Tom Sloan's plan is to seek prioritization of MHLS services by stakeholders. He's going to add an action plan component to the MHLS plan of service. He wants to measure success based on meeting library member needs in support of excellent services. Now, each member library has to prioritize their services 1 through 15. If there is no new funding, Mid-Hudson may take the money from lower prioritized services to fund more popular or more needed services on the top. The other reason for the prioritization, in case of a fiscal crisis, a cut in funding, the Mid-Hudson Library System will already have input from member libraries about what services are necessary and important to them. This eliminates emergency meetings, late-night work sessions, and overall panic. MHLS is a cooperative, and every library director has a chance to make the voice of his or her library heard.